Ladies and gentlemen, the maiden speeches of the governments of national unity have now concluded, and interesting is one way to describe them. Looking at the speeches, the first speech really to look at is that of the Agricultural Minister, John Steenhuisen, who highlighted the need to get new farmers into the industry. In typical fashion, the EFF used the opportunity to call John a right-winger, and claimed that the minister had zero willingness to resolve the land crisis. John's response was that while some were looting VBS, others spent their time attempting to make South Africa a better place.
Now, I heard a lot today, a lot of political invective being thrown around, a lot of epithets being thrown around. Who's right-wing and who's left-wing, who's right and who's wrong. But let me just say this. I was accused of being a right-winger. Let me just make this point. While some amongst us were busy looting VBS Bank, and I wonder how many emerging farmers lost their funds along with our gogos and the stokvels and the small agriculture there when that bank was looted. While some were looting VBS Bank, I was busy using our resources in court to fight for Mr. David Rhetoric, to get the land that he was due and to bring justice to that particular issue. While others were busy involved in state capture and putting people into key positions.
Honourable Minister, there is
A second speech by our favourite Oom Peter highlighted the need to transform the prison service. During the debate, a report was highlighted, and at the end of his speech, Oom Peter noted that it was good that one of the EFF members had highlighted that they had read the report. This meant to Oom Peter that at least one member of the EFF could actually read. Whilst the phonic rhetoric, this did get the EFF up in arms and did lead one EFF member to call Oom Peter racist because, he's white and stuff.
I want to refer to the Honourable Dihale. I've listened very carefully when she read her speech, and I want to congratulate her. At least now I know that there is one member in the EFF that can read. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Thank you very much. Okay, order. Thank you. Members are reminded.
Speaker, Chairperson.
Yes, is this a point of order?
Yeah, it's a point of order.
Okay, please raise the point of order.
It's actually a very racist assumption that members of the EFF, except the one that read, cannot read. We must take exception to that. It's racist, and you have started already being racist. You are racist. That's a racist statement, an anti-black statement. Why do you say we can't read? Who are you?
Honourable Member, can I just...
The main speech, however, I want to note was that of the Minister of Sports and Culture, Minister Gator McKenzie. For those of you who don't know, Minister McKenzie is a friend of the channel, we know him rather well, and as a result, his speech caught our attention. However, it was the context of the speech itself that was important. For those of you who don't recall, during the 6th Parliamentary Administration, the EFF would make comments along the lines of the national anthem known as Die Stem. The Stem was originally called the Call of South Africa and served as the national anthem of the Republic from 1957 to 1994. The song was originally a poem and was created in 1918, but was later put to music in 1921. The intention of the original composition was to highlight a commitment to the fatherland and to God. The anthem itself was disliked by some black South Africans who saw it as being associated with the apartheid regime because it had undertones which drew reference to Afrikaners and the Great Trek. After the fall of apartheid, for a while, Die Stem was sung alongside Nkosi Sikelel. This proved rather difficult, and the two were later formed into a hybrid song. The EFF themselves are not fans of the song because they claim it's a sign of apartheid might and power, aka white supremacy, and they want it removed from the anthem. The EFF have advocated for this for some time. The EFF's rationale is that they want apartheid and colonial symbols in our society to fall. I mean, they kind of want everything to fall, but this is another one of those things. However, others consider their dislike of distem as a convenient way to isolate and alienate the people of modern South Africa, those people specifically being white Afrikaners. To show their discontent of distem, the EFF commonly advocates their people to sit down and keep quiet during the singing of those lines of the anthem. With this context in mind, it is rather unsurprising that the EFF used Minister Gayton's maiden speech to ask him whether he intended, as a black man, to remove distem from the anthem. The minister had this in response to say.
But can I speak, please, man? Can you, Minister, accept distem or accept the apartheid flag in the same way that you accept distem? Because the two go together. You raise a flag so that you sing the anthem. Thank you.
No, the two goes together in your world, not in the real world. Because in the real world, the old flag does not exist anymore. So the stem is part of the national anthem. I will accept it. You see, there's so many amongst you that wants us to still live in the past. We have moved on. You can stay there, but we no longer live there. We will sing the stem.
Thank you, Minister. Your time is...
As you can see, the minister highlighted that as South Africans, we cannot just ignore our history and pretend it doesn't exist. We are, as a people, the product of our time and our history. Likewise, we cannot just alienate parts of South Africa we don't like. As the minister says, we are one people. We don't all think the same. We have 11 official languages. Our cultural differences should therefore be accepted, along with our cultural historical foundations. Because of this, we can't just break up South Africa by destroying our culture. And so the minister says he wants to keep the anthem as it is and leave distem in place because it's part of who South Africans are and as part of the South African history. Most importantly, and the lines that caught everybody's attention, was the minister saying that the EFF want to conveniently live in the past and they constantly want to highlight apartheid. The minister claims South Africans want to live in the future. They want to build the country together, and it's only the EFF who wants to have a form of cultural regression. And they don't want progress where everybody works together. All they want to do is be racial and be confrontational. So what can we take from all these maiden speeches? Well, for one, the EFF's no longer being listened to by anybody. And for two, what we can see is that the culture or the political culture of division is no longer of importance to South Africans. Everybody wants to move forward. They all want to build a better country. And let's face it, there's a lot of problems in this country, and the ministers themselves are keen to fix them. This even led one ANC member to conclude that the GNU itself was actually very powerful because of the way that all the ministers spoke in one voice, not really giving their opponents, the EFF, much of a sounding board to use the usual rhetoric, the hateful rhetoric they're well known for.
Hey, this GNU is powerful, man.
Whilst this in itself is not a huge cause for rejoice, what we can get from these maiden speeches is at least some lights of hope that in the now 7th administration of South Africa, we can all move forward and not backwards, as some politicians always seem to be intent on attempting to do.